other marriages of this interracial relationship that are breaking down everywhere. You need to be careful of them. And lastly, the fact the person married someone of a different race, let me come in from a black person's perspective, doesn't mean they are not racist. No. Hi everyone, hello, welcome to my channel. It's me, Ogechi. Welcome. So for this video, I'll be responding to a video titled telling my own side of the story about the divorce, and this video was done by Maryam Shumate. Maryam Shumate. Is that how you say her name? Maryam Shumate. Maryam. I'll put the name below. So she's a YouTube content creator, as well as a family vlogger. She's a Nigerian that migrated to the States to study and with a scholarship. Met her husband there. Her husband is from a different race, and they have children. Unfortunately, one of the first child that she had, died due to health issues, and now they have two more lovely children, healthy children. Okay, so I'll tell you how I discovered this girl and why am I really speaking about this issue, because this issue is issue that I've said over and over again, because I've done a video about do not marry or cut this type of person, and in that video I detailed about 10 characters of a man and a woman that you must avoid, because these people will bring their own wahala, they will bring their own problems, they will bring their own situations, and this may affect you in the long run. And listen, please watch that video. I'll put it in the click per click thing that goes there, and I'll put it in my description below. So please go and watch them. It will help you and it will benefit you if you watch that video first. And this it's not just about even intimate relationship. It can also come with friendship and stuff like that. So I discovered Maryam Shumate, or I'll just keep it to her first name, Maryam, years ago, some years back when I started watching YouTube. I think it was 2 years ago or so. If like she didn't start then, she started way back. So that I'm just telling you when I saw her. And in that video that I saw her was she was eating. She was doing a mukbang, a Nigerian food mukbang, and she was eating with another lady there. So that's the video I watched her on, and from that video I liked the girl. And why did I like her? Because her energy was speaking to me. Okay, her energy was on point, her personality was there, and like there was an originality that I liked about her. Okay, so her originality was the way she carried herself, like did her thing without care. So that really I liked. And there are like few people on YouTube that I can connect in that way, because I like people that are authentic in their own way. Okay, so authenticity, only can appreciate authenticity. Okay, my viewpoint. Okay, so I think another person I really like her originality would be Diana Ikweme. That's another Nigerian family vlogger now. Before she wasn't a family vlogger, but since she's been married, it become part of the equation. So there are other Nigerian YouTubers I like, so, and some of them I've already mentioned in my previous videos, so definitely check them out. So why am I mentioning them or mentioning about this issue? I just feel like there's a lot of things that we can learn from this issue and the issues of divorce, because I'm seeing divorce up left and right everywhere. It's almost becoming like a phase in life that you are born, you get married. It's not like you get married nowadays to the end. You have your school, you get married, and then there is another phase of divorce, and then there is another phase of remarrying. I mean, this is becoming a culture, especially on YouTube, and you're finding more like people getting divorced here and there. Okay, especially those that have presented their relationship on social media platform. So it's really important that you check it out and see what is the purpose, what is the reason for bringing your relationship to this platform, if it's just going to like crumble and then you have to explain yourself. So it's really important that you think about it. So as a single person, I like seeing relationship that flourishes. So I don't advocate for divorce. And my faith doesn't advocate for divorce either. So I don't. But obviously we know things happen. You have to separate yourself from human beings sometimes. So that's by the way. So what are the lessons? I've spoken enough. What are the lessons that you can learn from this? So the first lesson I feel like, especially as a black person, and I want to touch on something, is that I want to touch on the topic on deception. I feel like we need to escape from the deception, thinking that intermarriage relationship is better. Why do I say that? So I know people in my life that are also married, and they were complaining something about their husband. And then when they were complaining about their husband, they were comparing their husband to another race, and a male of other race. And I remember telling them, that is really bad every single time you do that. And they also do that. I mean, they weren't just telling me that, they tell their husbands that. I said to them, that is really bad, because what are you trying to say? If you're going to complain about someone not taking out a bin or mowing the garden or anything like that, it's just important to just say, okay, you didn't do it, complain about it, but to compare the person to another race altogether is actually wrong. And I learned this really earlier in my life, because I did that to a friend. Oh, she wasn't happy. I had to keep apologizing. And I realized the effects of that later on. Now that I'm older, I realized that it's not really good, especially as a black person, to compare, especially if you are comparing against something that you do not like. It's not good to compare them to another race at all. It's not. So I think we need to come out from that deception to think that interracial relationship or intermarriage of any relationship is better than like the opposite. Is it the non-intermarriage or interracial relationship, or the one race relationship? Okay, we need to come out of that deception, because I know sometimes when you see it on social media, you may perceive it in that way, because the people that are telling their story can only tell you from a one perspective, a one person's perspective, and they are trying to sell something to you. Remember, they are trying to show you something. They are trying to sell a message to you. So it's important to put that at the back of your mind so that you don't get deceived by that. Well, that would never be my issue really, but I just see from comments from other people, when you look at this interracial relationship, that some people kind of idolize it. People kind of idolize it, forgetting that these people are also human. So one thing that you may not know is that, let me see from a black person's perspective, I often find that for black women that marry another race, they have to be like, they cannot be mediocre, okay? They cannot be mediocre-ish, to say. They have to be at the top level of anything that they do, okay, in this relationship. So don't be deceived that you think that those people have it the best, because they have to. If you notice in every interracial relationship, the black woman in that relationship is often like in their A game. So you can't marry interracial really without being they're usually the highest qualified in that relationship, I find. Highest of anything. Some of them mostly the breadwinners as well, or and higher in one way or the other. So please don't be deceived by that. It's a hard work. So every issue that happens in a one race relationship happens in a interracial relationship. If not, it can actually they actually put more effort to make sure that it works, because obviously you have this issue coming from this race and this other issue coming from this other race that has to be solved. So there is like a double work into it. So you need to be careful and don't be deceived by that kind of interracial relationship, because it's not all perfect, okay? So there's something that in my language that they say that That means what you have not tasted is always hungry you, or you are there watching other people, but you are there watching other people and you're not satisfied in your own self. There is a saying for it, but I'm not going to say it. So it's really important that you don't idolize such relationship, because all of them require work like any other relationship. So that's the key thing, that deception that you feel like you're being sold, you need to come out of it. So really look at the women, especially let me coming from a black person's perspective. All the people in that relationship, they have to be excellento. They have to keep their prep and promo. They have to adjust, readjust. I think it possibly happens with the other race, but I'm just speaking from a black person's perspective or an African perspective, considering this person I'm speaking about is from an African perspective. So in her own relationship, coming back to Maryam, she's the hustler. She's the breadwinner of that relationship. Okay, so that goes to prove my point. So please, if you even look at it, if you want to check it out, check out other people in the relationship. They are often the mostly highly qualified, or if they're not the highest qualified, they better even come close to it. If their husband is A, their husband from another race is A, then they better come to B plus to actually meet that situation. So you really it's not easy to be that. You can't be mediocre and be in a relationship. So it's hard work. That's what I'm saying. So don't be deceived, because they all have their issues, and I feel like people don't appreciate themselves. I feel like some black women don't appreciate themselves enough, and some people may go into that relationship because they hate themselves or they hate other race, as some media channels have shown us from talk shows and things like that. So it's really important that you check, why am I in a relationship with this person? Is it because I don't like myself or do not like my own race? Because if you're going into that relationship because you want to improve your status, my dear, no. It can help you in terms of social, like if you're on social media, but in reality it doesn't really. Okay, so please check yourself, the reason why you're going into such relationship, before you wreck yourself. Because if you're going from a self-hatred perspective, you've lost the game already. Okay, because people in there, you must love yourself, because for you to love yourself, you have to bring yourself to that relationship and all your cultures. I've been on that topic for a lot, but I really want to stress the deception in that situation that people sell to you. You need to be careful. You need to have a discerning spirit. Okay, let me rush through the other ones then. So another thing that I found that people were saying to her, and even giving Bible quotation, which I find is very stupid to some extent, was that she should keep quiet. That she should, like many people are saying that she should keep her marriage quiet. It's not everything that you bring out. It's true. There's some truth to some extent, but how much quiet can a person keep if they deleted their YouTube channel just to please a man? Okay, if they deleted, if they stopped speaking to other people just to please their family relation, their man, if they have issues with their immediate family, it's just to please their man. I'm not saying this possibly is the case, but I'm just saying the things that you can learn from that situation. There are many people that's like, because they are in an interracial relationship, they have issues with their family, okay, or any anything relationship, so they abandon their immediate family and friends so that they can please this person. Then when they speak out, you say to them, don't speak. Like they've done all those sacrifices. It's now time for them to speak out. So I think remember, for months she has not said anything, so she's really bringing out all the things that she's been keeping quiet. And if, mind you, she's coming from Nigeria, and from a Nigerian perspective, you are conditioned more or less to keep quiet. That's why people don't like me talking. You're conditioned to keep quiet than to speak out, and that takes a lot. So for a Nigerian woman to come and tell you the nitty-gritties about their relationship or the issues in their marriage relationship, so let's be honest, it is difficult for any African person really to speak out loudly, especially on social media, about their struggles in their relationship. My dear, if the person has done this, give them accolades, give them a clap, okay? Because it's not easy to speak out. But I do agree that obviously you need to know the type of story you share, because your story will affect your children and generations to come, and it may also affect your future and your future life and other things. as Jessica Simpson says, the world knows you by the story you tell. So what story are you telling? So it's really important that you know the type of story you're telling. So I do agree there has to be a shape, a structure, a narrative that has to be presented that does not damage the future of you or your children, even if it's not of you. If you don't care about you, but think about your children. And the best way to really teach your children on what has happened to you is to teach them not to be the same person or marry the same person. So it's no use telling not people your story if your child still falls to be that person that you're trying to warn people against. So I think that's the best way to give an effective story, is to make sure that your children learn from it. So, and learn from it and not try not to be that person. So obviously you can only do that, teach. It's up to your children to learn, to keep to the what you've taught them. Then another thing I wanted to speak about is about not marrying an unambitious man. From the things that she spoke about, I spoke about these things in the first video I've done. Don't marry these people. I call them Mr. Potential. Mr. Potential I'm talking about here is Mr. Laziness. The unambitious is Mr. Lazy. And from the description that she gave of her husband, that's what it sounded to me. Mr. Lazy. Mr. Lazy of different kinds. Mr. Lazy to some extent. Let me tell you the type of laziness. There are different levels of laziness. There is different types of laziness. The type of laziness I'm talking, there's ones that are, I don't want to do anything. I'd rather be on like benefit for the rest of my life. Okay? There are ones that I rather be like, when I mean beyond benefits, like talking about being other people feeding them, and that benefit doesn't mean that you have to register with the benefit system. It means that I rather depend on other people to help me out in life. So that's Mr. Lazy that you really have to ignore. Mr. Potential, I call them is the daydreamers who keep dreaming, but never fulfill or try to put efforts to follow the dreams. So you really have to come out from Mr. Laziness. If you're the missus, also check yourself, because before you wreck yourself. I'm just saying. So from what she mentioned, the husband is very unambitious. Very unambitious, really, because if one thing fails, yes, it's good to mope and drone about it, but how long? But you have to continue. I have been in a period of unemployment. You don't understand, in my life, especially after graduating. That period is the worst ever. Oh Jesus, how it's not a good period to be in. I reject it for anybody. So please try and have a job before you graduate, because life will hit you with a fist. So yes, but you are still in that time. I was training myself, I was improving myself, I was doing so many things. So listen, I started selling my clothes. So it's important to learn to hustle and grind. And Maryam, from what you see from her personality, she's a hustler of different kinds. So she will hustle her life. She has hustled the rest of her life. She'll hustle to get her scholarship. So she put herself out there to do things. So I don't understand how the husband is not inspired by that woman to also be a hustler. Okay, so most of the times I find that men of that kind marry people that are ambitious. Okay, so I mean, I guess opposite attracts. So then you need to be careful. And it's also emotionally immature and mentally immature, from what I discovered, that if because you have issues or you don't like a job, you quit it. That's shows some sort of lack of mental maturity, okay, from his side. So you need to be careful of those ones. And then I said another thing, coming from a Christian perspective, is that it's important that you marry someone that believes, not just believes, but someone that prays with you, someone not just prays with you, someone that motivates you, supports you in your faith. That is important, but obviously they have to be a good person as well. But so that is really important, because from her video she mentioned that the husband at one point was mocking her because the deals that she was having was failing. So when it's good, he's insecure, and then when it's bad, he mocks her and asking her, where is your faith, kind of question. So listen, we have doubts already in our hearts. You don't need another person to be the doubter. You don't need another person to add the salt and pepper into the issue. So it's important to marry someone that can encourage you in your faith, because I thank God for her having a strong spirit, because someone like that can really destroy you and actually may start making you doubt God. So that's why I encourage that you surround yourself, or even if the person is not a religious person or is not a Christian to say, as long as they respect your faith and see how important it is to you and encourage that in you, then that's okay. St. Paul says that as well. So is really okay. So you must marry someone that encourages you in your faith. And then the reason why I say that, okay, I'll come to it, is that when you marry someone that encourages in your faith, they'll help you through trials a lot because they are there praying with you. So another thing is that a man that, do not marry a man that is so much into their looks than you. What did she say there? That's a point, that he was so much into the appearance, image that he portrays to other people about himself, that he forgets about his family and then blames her on issues that other people outside are speaking about him. And at a point he left their children to run across the road or something, because he was so worried about his own image. And then she also added to the salt injury is that he doesn't defend her. I'll come to that. Oh yeah, let me tell you this story. The person doesn't defend you. Let's be serious. So that image part, I can laugh about it because at the end of the day, everyone has their own thing. But the reason why if someone is more into themselves than they are into you, it shows you that you're more in love with them than they are with you. It also shows you that part of defending area, because they are often looking out for themselves rather than you. So let's talk about defending. If a person cannot defend you in public, how can they love you totally? So now let me get serious, because this is the reason why I actually decided to do this video. Because when I watched the whole saga, because I watched both the response videos and her videos, okay, different people that responded to her videos, SG somebody, I can't remember the channel. For me to see the husband hop on this person's channel to speak on the family issue, and to see that he also posted it on Lipstick Alley or wherever, I don't even know, place, and see the things that he wrote, I was like, Maria, if I'm you, go and check yourself because you wreck yourself. Why? Because what kind of husband publicly shames her wife in that form? Okay, what kind of husband publicly shames her husband in that form? That is very stupid. Because, and it shows you that this man never really loves you properly. And it shows you also, it shows you a lot of things. Really, to me, it shows a lot of things. And he mentioned about her age. I'm like, is it now that you recognize that she's older than you? And how much older can she be of you? Because both of you met in college anyways. So, why do I say this? Because think of it. Let me give you an example of Gamako and Harry. And Harry is the type of person that if you're looking for interracial relationship, he's really a good example of what kind of man that you should marry. Because guess what? When the media was against his wife, he stood up and publicly addressed the media and defended his family. That's the type of people that you should be looking to marry if you're going into this interracial relationship. That, you know what? I didn't really care about Harry, the prince. I didn't really care about him until he did that. My respect from him went from 0 to 100 immediately. That is the type of husband that you need to be seeking to marry. Okay? The person that has your back. Okay? People will say things that she'll be defending the husband up and right, up, left and right. But he does nothing. So it shows you. And he also, the way he spoke about her, is almost like he's ashamed to marry her. I was like, hold on, who should be ashamed here? So now, why do I even ask for what husband does this? What husband goes publicly first to divorce their wife? What husband does that? Goes publicly first to say, I'm going to divorce before they even file divorce. Now, let me bring it to you back as a Christian person. And I'll bring you back to also the fact that you have to have a praying husband who will support you in your faith, because that person will help deliver you from anything. It's because, one, you must marry a person that will bring blessings to you, not curse. Someone that will help you progress in your ambition in any relationship anyways, not bring you down. Okay, if the person is not going to contribute, at least let them be the cheerleader. So what am I trying to say? Okay, let's go to the Bible. If you do not know the story of Tobit, go and learn about the story of Tobit. It really benefits you for this story I'm going to tell. Tobit has a son named Tobias. Tobias met a lady called Sarah as he went to an errand for his father. Sarah was demonic possessed, okay? And she didn't know it, but I think she became aware of it. So she became afraid of herself. Every husband that she's married, Sarah, so when they consummate the marriage, after they has their first sexual intercourse, the person died. I think she married about 4 to 5 times, if not 7 times. I can't remember. No, 4 to 5 times or 3 times. I can't remember. She's married more than once or twice. All of them died. Tobit being the last person that she can marry within her family thing, as they used to marry then. So Tobias being the person. Tobias said to Sarah, because of this issue, this is what we are going to do. We are going to pray. Tobias prayed with Sarah, offered sacrifice. So, my video cut off. Tobias offered sacrifices, okay? Prayed with Sarah, his wife. And the evil spirit left Sarah. They had sex in their first time in marriage. Nothing happened to Tobias. And they lived happily ever after. So what does that show you? That's what a power of a praying husband does. A power of a husband that supports you in your faith. A power of a husband that defends you. A power of a husband that loves you and cherishes you. That's the power. Another thing I want you to take from this video is do not be deceived that social media is for everyone, because it can ruin your marriage. Now, bringing your marital issue on social media, I understand some of the concerns that people have. That's true. But for the husband to bring this marriage, divorce her, really, mentally, on social media in such way, it shows the character of the type of person that she's married to. What does that? And she can see she's not the one that wants a divorce. She doesn't really want a divorce. What does that show you? One is that he is not a good person with a good character. He doesn't have a godly heart. Okay? Towards Maryam in this situation. Now let me bring you the story of Mary and Joseph. Remember in the story we are told that Mary was already conceived before marriage, before they were consummated the marriage. What did Joseph say? I will divorce her quietly so that to protect her dignity. A person that loves you protects your dignity. Is to protect her dignity. Okay? Privately. We did not need to know all the details or what happened, what her age is affecting you, or whether you don't love her anymore. We don't need to know all those things. And you didn't have to put her in the platform for her to defend herself. Not even if you feel like she's going to say it. If you yourself said you didn't like being on social media, you didn't like the way people spoke about you, why would you then do that? Seriously, you guys need to really look. I don't know why people are even trying to defend this guy, because from the things I've seen about her, all the things that Maryam said about her just clicked. It made sense in my own head. So that's what a husband should do. A person that loves you defends you and honors you. If he loves you, he will defend your honor. That's what happens. Okay? So that's why I gave Harry as an example, because he defended his wife's honor. So please, that's the kind of person that you should be looking at, especially if you're going to this issue of interracial relationship. So please be careful of this kind of person, because this person will destroy your future, your life, okay? And you always feel insecure, okay, about yourself. And this kind of person also is can become a bully, really. And I'll come to the bully part. People I'll say do not marry a blamer. When I mentioned my first video, do not marry a blamer, do not marry a manipulative bully. And this is where I talk about bullying. And I'm saying this based on everything I've seen him write. And the fact, whether it's him or his image, it's always his image there. So, and it's his name. So, everything I've seen him write there, I'm like, he has this, I don't know how to pronounce it, is it narcissistic behavior? Yeah, he has that behavior. He's a manipulator in that sense. And also, I feel like Maryam, if she doesn't know, she has faced mental abuse in that form, and psychological abuse, that mental abuse in terms of psychological abuse, and financial coercion and abuse. And when she mentioned that whenever a deal comes in and it falls apart, and then to add salt to the injury, she asked for this GoFundMe, and then just before she was about to hit her 10K, she was around 9,000 when that got hacked. Sorry, I was watching. It got hacked. I was like, hold up. What do you think has happened there? So there is a lot of truth that he's revealed about this person's behavior. And if you doubt me, look at the things that the husband is responding to other people's comments against his wife. It really shows you my husband's character. So therefore, that's why I even decided to do this video, because I don't think anything that she said there can be taken lightly about the husband most of the time, mostly of them. So there are lots of truths that we can take from there. Careful, really. And lastly, I just want to say, Maryam is a very strong-spirited person. I understand people saying that she is a fraud and blah blah blah. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the girl either. I just told you a video I'd watched her, because it doesn't take me a long time to like a person. That's the video, and I watched her, I liked her straight away, that's it. She's strong-willed, she has strong-willed personality, so it's important to choose to understand her personality and accept her for who she is. If you're one of those people that say people should be loved for who they are, why can't you love that girl for who she is? So, love her for who she is, and if she's a fraud, why not someone sue her? I haven't seen anyone that brought a lawsuit against her. They are only commenting on her personality, and so what? We all have our own wrong personalities. We have our own shortfalls in life. So we need to be careful to not judge others harshly when we have not even taken the scalp out of our own eyes. So that's my own thing. Another thing I want to say is, do not marry an unteachable spirit or someone that you cannot influence positively. And I feel like this is something that has played out in that marriage. And if you look at other marriages of this interracial relationship that are breaking down everywhere, you need to be careful of them. And lastly, the fact the person married someone of a different race, let me come in from a black person's perspective, doesn't mean they are not racist. Oh, sorry, did you hear that again? So racism comes in different forms, just as in case you didn't know it. Let me educate you. I studied sociology for that. It comes in different forms. So the fact someone has a black child or had a relationship with black people, but doesn't mean that they are not racist. I'll give you an example. I've dated a person that also had the same issue. Yes, the girlfriend liked her. The girlfriend is a different race. He's a black person. The girlfriend didn't like his black friends and wouldn't let them come to the house and spoke all sorts of ills against them. So the fact that you see interracial relationship doesn't mean that the other person may not be a racist person. The black ones are the ones that often bend forward, backwards to please. So that's why I'm not going to say it's us. So please, just bear that in mind, okay? Because hatred comes in different forms, okay? The power of dominating comes in different forms. Him and Maryam has all issues and things to cause to settle. They have things to answer to that they haven't revealed to us. So please, let's not be playing that victimization game. Both of them has their own issues. The only reason why I'm bringing Maryam's situation to this thing, because I think there is a lot of things females can learn from this issue of this marriage breaking down, relationship breaking down anyhow, anywhere. I feel like It's almost like a popcorn. All right, don't laugh. I'm not laughing at the breakdown of the relationship, because I told you my faith doesn't promote it. Either my spirit promotes breakdown in relationships. So, but what I'm saying is, if she's a fraud that some people have mentioned, please know that it's a family business, because according to her, he's always in the know of what deals that are coming through. So it's a family business. So, and I will not be surprised if he jumps back into her life since she's gotten her house and settled. Okay, because people like that narcissistic behavior, whatever they call it, go and learn it. It's a personality. Okay, go and learn it very carefully. Those people know how to manipulate their life back into things. Okay. They do. So go learn about those people. Unhelpful spirits don't marry. Just go and watch my video actually of that. I'm not going to speak about it all here. This video is long, I know, but take care. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share and like. Bye. Signing off, Talkinsen. All right, was there anything else I missed? Mr. Blamer. Oh, sorry, before I close, people thinking about why is she receiving money from strangers. Hold up. Why can't she receive money from strangers? Go to my blog channel, The Overwhelming Grace of God is Upon My Life. Watch that. God stirs the heart of others to help others. So why can't she ask it? What happens to the book of Matthew that tells us, ask, seek, and you shall receive? That's what she's exercising, her faith. So if you ask strangers for help, why can't she ask strangers for help for money or even signing a lease? If he's not touching your spirit, that means that you're not the person that God has ordained for her to do that. And you've already found the person that has helped her. Anyways, so if he's not in your spirit to do so, that means it's not you that God is going to stir up to do so. So what is wrong with asking for help from strangers? If people go to charities to ask for help, and that's strangers. If people go to if people go and beg for money, isn't that from strangers? So if you beg money on the street, isn't that from strangers? If you go and register from benefits, isn't that from strangers? You are asking for help from strangers. So stop that. I hate people that say that. When people say that. So I hate people that I hate it when people say that, because we are asked to ask for help from others. We are meant to build for relationship to support others. What she's asking for is support. According to her, she has supported many people through her charity work, which I don't know about. But please, if you want to support her, and let's keep the criticism to a low and see and hear her story out and see what we can do or learn from it. On that note, thank you, take care, bye. Signing off.